Monday morning. Thank you for taking the time. All right, good. And here's the goal. At the end of this class, I want to be able to answer the question for you, what do I practice tomorrow morning? That's the goal. I want to give you an introduction to the iron body system. I want to show you some of the exercises. I want to give you an in-depth overview of the types of training that you should be doing on a daily basis and how they all fit together and why we're doing these things. All right. So by the end of this class, you're going to understand how to organize your training into one cohesive daily practice and make sure that you are building the body beneath your art. Okay, it doesn't matter what art you study. That's the cool thing, is that all of these exercises support your body, and your body is the platform that we're building the art on top of. So if you build a greater foundation, if you get stronger, if your structure is more integrated, if you have greater degrees of martial power and resilience, then it does not matter what you're practicing. You will be better, more capable, more powerful, and you'll get stronger as you get older. So for me, that's pretty important, right? For all you guys, I think that's important too. I know that a lot of you guys are in your 40s and your 50s. Some of you guys are a little bit older, but that's okay. You keep going. So here's the thing. I took some notes, all right, because this is the first time doing this, and I want to make sure I give you guys all the content and information I can. So let's talk about, put those down for a second. Let's talk about one of the issues that was the impetus for creating this system. And for me, if you don't know my background, I've been training in martial arts for over 40 years. And during that time, I've had great opportunity to study with many teachers, train in many different arts. But one of the things I've noticed that the best teachers, the most capable teachers always had a consistent daily practice. Everyone who impressed me with their skill, their power, their movement, their knowledge, their experience, every single one of those guys had a consistent daily practice. Historically, when you look at the greatest martial artists of all time, you look at the Ueshibas, you look at the Sagawas, the Kanos, the Funakoshis, right? You look at Bruce Lee, of course. Every single one of them, Musashi, every single one of them had a consistent, dedicated daily practice that they swore by. And the goal for us is not to imitate these guys, right? We don't have to copy them. We have to look and see and understand what it is that they were looking for, right? Because each one of them was looking for something specific. And for us, we got to find what it is that we are looking for and then build the practice, build the body of our own art, our own specific daily personal training. Okay. So while it's fun to look at Bruce Lee's routines and be like, I want to look at his notebooks and I want to do everything that he did, it's not yours, right? It's not yours. It doesn't fit you. Okay. Unless you are his height, his build, his weight, and you're like in your 30s. Okay. Remember that Bruce was 32 when he died. So his practice, if he had survived, his practice today would look nothing like what his practice did in his notebooks in 1972. Okay. So you gotta look at these things with a grain of salt, and you have to understand that these martial artists were seeking something. And our goal is not to imitate them. Our goal is to seek what they sought, right? So, excuse me a second. Speaking of Bruce, yeah, I love this cup. How we doing, guys? Any questions so far? Just making sure, because when I expand the screen, somehow I lose the chat. All right. We're going to keep going. So when we talk about having a daily personal practice, a lot of us get lost in the weeds, me included. And, I think if you saw some of the videos that I posted recently, I was talking about how I'm a collector of information, right? I have hundreds of books. I have dozens of DVDs. I have dozens of online courses. I love to collect techniques and drills. I love to collect workouts, right? And I think all of us, we get lost in the information overload. We collect all of this stuff, and we have strength training from one source. We've got qigong from another source. We've got energy work and breath work from a different source. We've got mobility over here. We've got kata and drills from our art. And one of the things we fail to do is put them together in a cohesive manner. So the problem becomes information overload, right? One day I'm just training strength, and then I get bored of that. So I figure, you know what? Maybe I need more mobility, so I'll train that. Or maybe I will practice my kata, and I'll just do that. And the thing is, if we don't integrate our strength, our power, our mobility, our flexibility, our breath work, our structural work, if we don't integrate those together, we lose something because we train them piecemeal, right? We work on kind of a ad hoc basis with our training. And while that's okay, it's not desirable, right? It's not the best that we can do. In fact, we can do a whole lot better. And that's what I want to show you guys today is the reason that I created this iron body system was because I needed a practice, right? As I study artists like, Ueshiba or Sagawa, Ueshiba in particular, because he was pretty cool. He had, I don't know if you guys know, he had this practice called misogi, right? And it was a series of 8 daily exercises. And what he did was he used these exercises as a container for his internal power work, right? It's not like everyone who did these misogi exercises was a powerhouse like Ueshiba. So what was the difference? The difference was he understood internally how to change what he was doing so that he got stronger from the inside out, so that the exercises that he was doing really fed back into the system and fed back into his martial practice. That's the kind of thing that we need to do, is figure out what are these exercises, how do they fit together, and more importantly, how do they feed back into the system so that instead of doing 8 exercises, we're doing something, a whole that is greater than the sum of its parts, okay? The reason that these 8 fit together so well is that they enhance each other and they build on each other. And then once you become more advanced and you move to the next level, you start to understand that all these exercises are built on a foundation of 5 pillars, right? And if you've read my emails or you've gone on my website and you've read my philosophy, these 5 pillars are kind of the foundation of the iron body system, right? So we're talking about The first one is structure, okay? And structure is how your body is organized, right? How do we best organize our body so that we have good alignment, we have good posture, we are anti-gravitational, you like that word? And we can move easily but powerfully. The other thing about structure is that it teaches us how to root. So we have this ability to be immovable even during motion. This is a super huge topic. All right, guys, super huge. The ability to be immovable during motion. But all of that is trained under this pillar of structure, right? Pillar number one. And there's a reason it's number one. The second pillar, from structure, we move to durability. And durability is the resilience and the strength of the tissues, but not just working on injury prevention, which is a very important goal, but actually working on creating the strength of the tendons, the ligaments, the fascia, and connecting them all together so that the body is supported from the inside out. Okay. Once we create that, we start to move more powerfully. We start to begin to express power in a different way, which leads us into elasticity, the third pillar. The elasticity is using the stored elastic energy within the muscles, within the tendons, within the fascia to create powerful movement. The other side of that is that the elasticity is what allows us to store and also neutralize incoming force. So not only does it help you to express power, but it helps you to neutralize any incoming force, which is key if you're a martial artist and somebody's trying to hit you. All right, somebody's trying to push you, somebody's trying to throw you. If they cannot break your balance, structure, right? Also elasticity. If they can't break your balance, they can't take you down. If they can't take you down, you're a bear to deal with, okay? So we'll come back to that in a little bit. Once we move on from elasticity, we need to move into pressure. And pressure is the breath. The breath is what helps to kind of inflate the body, almost like a tire, so that not only are you structurally strong, not only are you moving powerfully, but you are supported from the inside out. And this is a super, super important key for power, okay, for martial movement. We good so far? Guys got any questions? Pop them in the chat. Let me know. All right, good to go. Excellent, excellent. Okay, and the final pillar is integration. Integration is where we have forged a martial body. Integration is where everything comes together, and we're not training these things in separate qualities, right? We're not doing structure over here, pressure over here, elasticity over here. We have put them together so that every part of our movement is supported by the 5 pillars. All right. This is super, super key. And I have a handout for you guys, but I'm not sure how to give it to you right now. I'm going to click this button and see what happens. Ooh, I think I could do it. Hang on. Hang on. I'm going to find this handout for you. I should have put it up earlier, but get to it right now because it kind of helps to summarize what we're talking about today. And it's helpful for you guys to have in front of you. And if I can remember what I called it, that'd be great. Here it is. All right, you guys. It should be uploading that for you. All right. Boom. All right. Did you guys get that? Everybody good? Okay. Great. Losing my voice. Little coffee. All right, guys. Let me make sure that we are still on track here because, all right, excellent. We talked about the 5 pillars and we talked about the martial body, right? This building the body beneath the art. This is where the rubber meets the road, where we begin to express everything together. Okay. And as we do that, just trying to expand the screen here. As we do that, we're going to start to work on these different exercises. All right. So if you guys have some space, take off my reading glasses. If you guys have some space, I want you guys to stand up. Okay. Okay. So what we want to do is work on a few of the Iron Body Daily 8 exercises. And remember, this is a daily practice. Connection seems to be unstable. All right, you guys doing all right? Everybody here okay? Looks like everybody's hearing okay. All right, we shall keep going. Good, good. Open this back up. How did I do that? There we go. Okay. All right, so the daily 8 are the 8 exercises that I've developed over the last several years, trying to create a practice for myself. And as I did this, they evolve, right? They evolve over time. And the more that I practice these specific 8 exercises, the greater benefits I was seeing in the rest of my training. So as I do these exercises, they become something greater than what they start out to be. Many of you guys who are on this call have reached out to me and said, I've been practicing the daily 8 consistently. I've been seeing increases in strength. I've been seeing increases in my performance. I've been seeing my martial power go through the roof. That's what we want, okay? That's the idea. The more you do this, the more consistent you are, the better they work, okay? These 8 exercises pay dividends over time for your training. And for you guys, you need to develop the consistency, the discipline to do these. And remember, this is not a super extensive workout, right? This is 10 to 30 minutes, depending upon how much time you have. So if you've got 10 minutes, I'm pretty sure everybody has 10 minutes a day that you can devote to your training, all right? If you don't, reorganize your schedule, okay? Figure it out. But here's the thing. The first one that I want to talk about is, in my opinion, one of the most important, the Janjong, right? The standing practice. Because this is the foundation that we build on. This jamjong, this standing meditation, creates that structure, that rootedness. And the cool thing about it is as you advance in this exercise, you'll notice that it supports all 5 pillars. So you have not only structure, but elasticity, pressure, durability, integration in this one exercise. And in fact, in every single one of these exercises, you have the same thing. All right. So, but Jamjam has a very near and dear place to my heart because I used to hate this exercise. When I was younger and I was traveling for work, I would go to the local bookstore and I would buy, of course, martial art books, right? But books on Qigong, books on meditation, books on standing. And I remember reading about this Jamjong and being like, my God, this is great. This is like the Holy Grail. And then I'd be in my hotel room and I'd go to practice and it would suck. I couldn't do it for more than 2 minutes. It was awful. And I never figured out what was missing until years later when I met an internal arts teacher who happened to be a master of taijiquan. And he was like, well, problem is you're doing this wrong. And he basically was like, look, maybe if you do it like this instead of how you were doing it, you get some results. And lo and behold, as I practiced the way he told me, I started to get more and more results and I started to practice this more. And this for years was the foundation of my practice. So when I started to create this Iron Body Daily 8, Jamjong had to be number 1. Okay, so here's what we do. What I want you guys to do, stand up. If you're not standing already, bring your feet about shoulder width apart. And you're going to have your feet facing forward. I know you can't see my feet right now, but trust me, they're facing forward. What I want you to do is pick up your shoulders, squeeze them tight, and then drop them down. Okay? Pick them up, squeeze them tight, exhale, drop them down. From here, sink like you have a bar stool behind you. I want you to kind of sit as if you're sitting on a bar stool, okay? So drop your hips a little bit, sit like you're sitting on a bar stool, let the knees bend slightly. From here, chin down, crown up, shoulders down, okay? Chin down, crown up, shoulders down. Lift the spine like you're lifting, like you're being pulled up from the crown of the head, right? Suspended from the crown. And then once you feel like you're being pulled, try to leave this here and sink the body. Okay, sink the body and feel the spine expand. Let that space kind of open up. Feel that expand, lifting and sinking, lifting and sinking. Feel your knees start to pull forward a little bit, just a little bit, like they want to bend, but they're not. Let your hips sink, like you want to sit, but you're not, okay? And then bring the arms like you're hugging a big tree. Open the fingers. Feel the hands. Feel the hands expand from the center and feel like the fingers are pulling in towards the center. So you want this yin and yang, this union of opposites. It's going to be in the entire body, but for the hands, we want to make sure that you get this detail, okay? This is very key. It's very important because when you get this detail, you're going to feel the tendons begin to pull. If you don't have this, you're not doing it right. If your hand is like this, you're not getting it. Okay? It's It can be okay if you're nice and relaxed for health standing, but we're doing martial standing, and there's a big difference. One of the key things is that with martial standing, we need to be pulling the tendons. We need to be pulling the connective tissue. We need to be opening the body. All right. So, one more time with the hand, can feel like you're palming a basketball right here, but then it's opening from the center out as well as closing in. Okay. So, like that. When you hold the hands, that's how you want these tendons to be pulling, like they're popping out. Okay. Keep that in mind. So we're here. We've got shoulders down, chin down, crown up, lifting and sinking of the spine, opening the hands, pulling the tendons. The feet do the same as the hands. All right. This is also very key. You want the feet grabbing the ground, but not with tension, right? It's the same supported feeling that the hands have with the feet. So pulling, opening and closing, right? Opening and closing the feet just like the hands. Okay, make sure that's happening. So here, lifting and sinking. Now, what I want you to feel is your elbows pulling left and right. So elbows pull left and right, but they don't open, right? You're holding the tree, holding the ball, whatever you need to imagine to keep this here, but the elbows feel as if they're pulling left and right. Feel as if they're pulling. Remember that your spine is lifting and sinking. Okay, lifting and sinking, up and down. Elbows pulling left and right. Now I want you to feel the back of your neck pulling backward and your hands pulling forward. So it feels as if the back of your neck is pulling against the hands. So this creates a forward-backward intent, okay? So you have up and down, right? Left and right, forward and backward. All of these things serve to create the 6 directions, right? Up, down, left, right, front, back. The 6 directions are the mind, body, intent, connection that you need to be rooted, supported, to be able to receive, neutralize, retranslate incoming force. All right. If you're not standing with the 6 directions, we're missing something. Okay. So when you stand, even if it's 2 minutes, okay, I don't care. Start with 2 minutes, get to 5 minutes. This is really, really critical. So as you guys do this, make sure, come back to the instructions. Remember to pull. Remember that your body needs to be supported in 6 directions, okay? That's exercise number 1. The second one I want to work on, a little sip of coffee here. It's good. The second exercise I'm going to work on, you guys. Hang on a second. Just checking your Q&A real quick. All right, everybody good? Okay, everybody good to go? All right. No, I posted the handout on this platform, and I'm not sure. I will send it out via email after this, okay? Yeah, I'll send it out after this. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da. All right, everything's good? Okay, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. How much tension? Ha ha ha. That's a great question. Okay, so let's talk about that real quick. Okay, so when you're doing the standing, I don't want you to think about tension in terms of muscular effort. Okay, think instead of pulling, they call it pulling silk, right? If you translate it from the Chinese, right? Silk reeling, pulling silk. You want to feel as if all these connective tissues are pulling throughout the body, but it's a tensile strength. Okay. Remember that muscular strength is contraction. Okay. Muscular strength is contraction. When we contract, we can't pull through. So your intent is what needs to create this pulling sensation. And remember that the intent leads your energy leads your strength. So when you're working, you need to dial your intent up, but not your tension. Okay. When you pull, this needs to stay as relaxed as possible, but you need to feel like you're pulling silk or you're pulling like some type of cable through the body. Okay. Rather than thinking in terms of tension contraction, think in terms of expansion. Okay. Does that help? All right. Let me know. And we'll talk about the next exercise because I want to keep this moving, guys. I want to respect your time because I know it's a big commitment to be here on a Monday morning. And I am very grateful that all you guys are here. And I want to keep this moving. I want to give you as much information as I can in this short period of time. Cool. And I also want to make sure that we have time at the end to give you more opportunity to ask questions. Okay. So let's talk about structural isometrics. Okay. As you guys know, isometrics are a huge part of my training. And if you've been on my email list for the last few years, you know that we have gone deep down the isometrics rabbit hole and that we have been using them to support our training, to build our structure, and to work the body, work the muscular system. Okay. So the standing is working the internal systems, right? The isometrics are going to be working the muscular systems. So we need to have both, right? We need to build the body from the inside out, and we need to build the body from the outside in. Because when we get the best of those both worlds, that external strength training and that internal strength training, we are stronger, we are more capable. And we also want to make sure that we do want to build muscle. All right, guys? Because I'll tell you something very, very important. If you don't actively build muscle, you lose it. And muscle is your most metabolically active tissue. It's also what's going to keep you healthy and strong into old age, right? Energy is great, structure is great, chi is amazing, breath work is amazing. But if you don't have muscle to support your skeleton, you're going to be missing something. And muscle is a key factor in your health and in your injury prevention as you get older. So we're going to be working muscle. We're going to be building muscle onto the frame, and we're going to be making sure that you do it in the correct way. Okay. Because there are good ways, bad ways, And there are positive and negative ways to go about this, especially in regards to supporting your martial arts training, right? Because remember, that's the lens that we're looking at. Okay? That's the lens that we're looking at this through. Does this support my martial art training? Is this building my body beneath my art? Okay? If it doesn't support it, maybe we don't need it. And that's the lens that I've built all this training through for you guys, for me, for you guys. All right. So structural isometrics. What I want you to do, let me see if I can make this. Okay. So put your right foot forward. Okay. Kind of hinge at your hips a little bit. So put your hands here. Hinge a little bit forward. You should feel like you are ready to spring forward. Okay, you should have this feeling of forward pressure, right? You're driving this knee, this right knee, this foot into the ground, and your back leg on the ball of the foot. All right. From here, what I want you to do is take the hands, bring them together, shoulders down again, look forward, push the hands together as tight as possible. Push like you're driving these hands together. Keep your breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Breathe, push, lift from the crown, and then from here, twist slightly. Keep the pressure. Keep going this way. Push, push, push. Tighten the core. Exhale. Then let it go. Shake it out. Okay, shake it out, shake it out. Shake out the legs. Drop the shoulders. Shake them out. Breathe. When you do your isometrics, I want you to do maximum. Try to get to 100%, okay? Because it's very difficult when you're doing this without any type of device to measure what's the difference between 85 and 90, okay? It's stupid. Do 100% and then switch sides. So from here, left foot forward, right? Like you're in a lunge, ball of your back foot, okay? Lifting from the crown, forward pressure, driving this foot down, sinking, lifting, forward, hands, drive them together, breathe, 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 twist, push forward, drive the back foot, squeeze the entire body, breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. For about 10 seconds. Shake it out. Okay. How'd you guys do with that? Let me get back to the Q&A. Okay, makes sense? How'd you guys do? Pretty good? Okay. Nice. Nice. Very cool. Excellent. Good. All right. Little coffee. Still maintain 6 directions. Ha ha ha. Love it. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Great question. The name of this exercise? I don't know. I made it up. I call it structural isometrics. Yeah, it's basically, so this exercise is a combination of, a couple things, right? It's a combination of forward pressure. So if you've trained Wing Chun, Jeet Kune Do, you'll know this feeling of forward pressure, right? So So it's a combination of forward pressure. It's a combination of an athletic stance, right? That lunging position, the ball of foot, and it's a combination of a twist from yoga. So what I did is put them all together to create that structural isometric exercise. Okay, so it's unique, I know, but for you guys, for your training, okay? Nice, 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 nice. You guys are killing it. Okay, let's do one more. How are we doing on time? We're doing pretty good. Okay, let's do one more. All right. Okay, so what I'd like to do with this one is talk about the horse stance breathing, okay? When we do this, everybody knows, let me see if I can lower that a little bit. Everybody knows the basic horse stance, right? Start your feet together, step out, step out, step out, step out. Sink the hips, chin down, crown up, and then try to drive down, okay? If you can get the thighs to parallel, keep the back straight, hold the hands out, right? This is your horse stance. But with the breathing, I want it to be just a little bit higher. I'm gonna back up. So I want you to sit and basically keep the legs about this height for right now. Okay, hands are in front of here, in front of the dantian, right? And as you breathe, as you inhale, pull the hands apart. And as you exhale, push the hands together. Now, I want you to feel a resistance, right? When I pull, it's like I'm pulling apart springs. And when I push, it's like I'm compressing these springs. So there's a resistance between the hands. There's lifting, sinking, forward, backward, left and right, pulling. Now when you breathe, in this exercise, in through the nose and out through the mouth. As you inhale, I want you to feel the body expanding. As you inhale, the body has to expand. You want to feel like you're blowing up a balloon, right? Remember that tire pressure we talked about, where you're strengthening, supporting from the inside out? This is this breathing exercise. So not only are you working energetically, but you're working pressure. This needs to be done with a very specific intent, okay? So when you do this, feel the body expanding. And on the exhale, feel the air being pushed into the muscles. So this is a little different. When you inhale, you want the body to expand, right? You want to feel the body fill with energy, okay? You want to feel the body fill with energy, fill with air, fill with strength. But when you exhale, don't collapse, right? Don't go, you lose everything. You don't want to let the pressure go. When you exhale, you want that, all of that energy, that breath to be supporting you, okay? So when you inhale, you're supported. And when you exhale, you feel that air press into the muscles. So it's creating almost a barrier or a force field or that tire pressure, okay? But it's creating that internal pressure so that you're constantly supported from the inside out rather than being full and then being empty, okay? You don't want You don't want to lose strength on your exhale. Okay. You want to make sure that you're constantly supported and powerful no matter what part of the breathing cycle you're in. Does that make sense, guys? Is that cool? Dun, dun, dun. Hey, Phil. All right, I'm reading your note right now. Okay. Okay. So, but yeah, you can understand the principle, right? And even if this left hand, this left arm isn't moving, you can still try to direct that energy, right? Because it's really, we're doing this as an open and close, right? We're doing this open and close exercise to add another element. But the main point, the main thrust of this is the breath. So don't worry about not being able to do this. Worry about being able to do this. Okay. As long as you can do the breath and understand that intent, that specific feeling of that pressure, you're golden. You're welcome. Peter, excellent. Good. Everybody else? Everybody cool? Nice, nice, nice. All right. Let me take a quick look at the notes because I want to make sure I am covering everything for you guys. We did do those exercises. The one thing, if you guys have seen the iron body kata that I put together, the kata is where we take all the principles of the daily 8 and we put it together into one movement form. Okay, so that the kata is our level of integration. The kata takes all these principles and it works all of them. Each one of the daily 8 exercises is encapsulated in the kata. So the kata is kind of like the top layer of, actually, see if I can show you guys here. So if you guys can see that, right? This, and excuse my pathetic handwriting, but what I wanted to show you is that with this pyramid, daily practice is our foundation, right? Structure we build on. From the structure, we work to the durability. The durability, then the elasticity, and finally the pressure, and then the capstone on top of it all is the integration. The integration is where all of these things come together in the movement of the iron body kata. Okay. But we still, we work these components separately. We build them, we integrate them, we train them, and then we begin to integrate them into that kata. So that's the idea. That's the idea behind the kata. Your job now is to take this information and use it in your daily practice, right? You guys have got the daily 8 exercises, right? You need to be doing them on a daily basis. You need to be doing the standing, the breath, the isometrics, right? The farmer's carries, the crawling, all those things work into everything, work into developing everything. Now, just making sure that we got everything covered. Okay, so here's the thing. I want to get into a Q&A, right? I want to give you guys the opportunity to ask questions. And everything I've shown you absolutely can be practiced on your own. And I hope that you do, right? That's the goal, is to get you guys to develop this consistency, to develop this discipline, to develop this daily practice and make it your own, right? Build your body beneath your art. But the thing is, over the years, what I've noticed, I have coached people, taught for many years. I've taught online for over a decade. And you guys know that I have dozens of online courses, right? But the thing is, many of my students get the best results when we work together. And the thing is, when we practice together, everyone improves, right? Rising tide raises all boats. So that's the idea behind the apprenticeship that I've created. And I know if you guys are on the email list, you have seen the emails, you've probably been to the page talking about it. You can see it. Maybe you can see it here. I don't know if I did that correctly. The build the body beneath the art. And what I want to do with the apprenticeship is continue this format with you guys each week for the next 30 days. I want to give you guys as much of my experience and my insight and my philosophy and my details as I can in this next 30 days so that you can take this practice and make it a lifelong practice. So the thing is, whether you decide to take me up on this or not, it's cool. If you do, I would love to have you guys here. I would love to work with you guys over the next 30 days. And I think it'd be amazing. I think this is the missing piece, right? I feel like I've put my heart and soul into creating courses. But as I said in the video, I don't know, a few days ago, I've done creating courses a lot. Now I want to create practitioners, and that's you guys. So if you guys want to become a practitioner of the Iron Body system, you want my help in implementing it and getting the most out of all of this training. The Iron Body core system is probably 6 or 7 modules plus workbooks plus journals plus, training plus isometrics plus all these things that I've put together over the years. I want to give that to you guys. And additionally, I want to work with you over the next 30 days to do this once a week, to be there for a Facebook group, to answer all your questions, to coach you guys through it, and to make sure you guys get the most out of this training. So that is the idea behind this apprenticeship. So if you guys want to click this link, that'll take you to the thing, sign up, okay? If not, it's cool. Just make sure you practice, all right? That's my job, is to make sure you guys practice, you guys get the most out of this training. All right. Questions. What do you got? Let me know. Put your questions in the chat. And we got a few minutes left. Let me know what you guys think. Did you have fun? Did you learn something? Are you practicing right now? Are you going to get off this call and go do your standing? I hope so. Daily practice, right? All right, you guys. Let me know if you have any more questions. I am happy to answer them. If not, we will go about our day. Give you guys another minute or so. If you're typing, take your time. Let me know what you think. Also, if you don't have any questions, but you have feedback, let me know what you guys think, okay? Let me know how this class was. Let me know what you learned. Let me know if you want more. All right, let me know what you guys think about everything. And I will make it happen. All right. No more questions? You guys are good. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your attention. I appreciate your questions. And I look forward to working with you guys. I will make sure that this recorded. I'm hopeful that this recorded. But like I said, this is my first time with the new software, doing the best I can. And if it did, I'm assuming it recorded, but I will, of course, yes, I will send it out via email. I will send you the recording via email, and I will shoot you guys that PDF that I put together for this course. I'll also send it over email. All right? Like to know more about the 8 exercises and the kata. Peter, my friend, I will email you. Check the, can you click this link? Can you see this link up here? Build the body beneath the art. Click that, and that will give you more information. And also, you guys, feel free to email me, coach@warriorfitness.org. Okay, coach@warriorfitness.org. Email me anytime, send me any questions. I am happy to respond and happy to make sure that you guys have what you need to keep moving forward. All right, you guys. Awesome. Thank you guys for your attention. Like I said, any questions, email me. I will send you guys the replay. I will send you guys the attachment sheet, and have a great day. Take care, guys. Thank you so much.